Day in the life of a junior at NDSU majoring in Family and Consumer Sciences education. I started off my day by making myself some breakfast, which I start with fried potatoes in the air fryer for about 12 minutes, and while those were cooking, I did the dishes really quick. I scrambled up some eggs and threw those into a greased pan to fry. I usually make this breakfast every single day, and then after that I worked on some lesson plans and taking a quiz for one of my other classes, and I walked to my first class of the day, which was an EML, which is where we have a lot of our classes. And the class that I had was textiles, so we were learning about finishes, putting on different fabrics, and then we took a look at our swatch books as well. After this, I headed to my Facts Methods 2 class, which is where we learn how to teach facts. It's my favorite class. And when I got there, the whiteboard was dirty, so I worked on my teaching skills and cleaned that up real quick. There are only 2 of us in this class, so this is Lydia, the other facts major, that takes it with me. My next class that I had today was Sewing Lab. So today we worked on our swatch book samples, and then we were getting ready to sew our little girl's dress, which is our next project. Sewing Lab has been so fun this year, and I'm so excited to start the dress. My favorite part about facts is all of the life skills that you can learn. Some of the classes I have taken here at NDSU include nutrition science, housing and interior design, food and world cultures, advising FCCLA, design fundamentals, parent-child relations, finance, sewing and textiles, and of course our education classes, which includes methods of teaching facts and intro to teaching. I student teach in the fall, and all of these classes have greatly helped prepare me for that. After class was over, I headed back home to make myself some supper quick before I headed off to another meeting. Tonight for our saddle and sirloin meeting, we voted on the 98th Little Light royalty, and that's a typical.
What's up, high schoolers? My name's Eric. I'm a sophomore here at NDSU. You should come here because it's a great environment. There's always something to do here. But just today, had a flag football game, so if you love sports, don't want to quit, or just something to do, got a bunch of clubs here. Around Fargo, it's a great city, always stuff to do. We have parks. If you like, I don't know, something to do outside, there's always stuff to do outside here. Let's say the campus. The campus is great. It's a great wellness center here on campus. Shoot some hoops, play some ball, anything like that. Let's see, the rest of the Fargo city, it's great. There's good stuff here. You know, on the weekends, there's always something to do, off campus or off, on campus or off. Let's see, what else we got here? Football games, baseball games, basketball games, softball. Oh, I don't know how much sports we have. We have a lot, though. So, I mean, there's always games going on. Volleyball in the fall here. If you like that stuff, that's great. Making new friends. You know, I don't know if you guys are from a big city or not, but, you know, there's always a ton of people here on campus. New people. Meet some people in the facts department or out. You know, make connections wherever you want. But yeah, I mean, it's a great town, great school. It's safe, it's fun. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Riley, and I'm a freshman Family and Consumer Science education major at North Dakota State University. What made me decide to come to NDSU was, well, the FACS program itself, but what made me decide to pursue Family and Consumer Sciences was not just my involvement in the courses in high school, but also my involvement with FCCLA at the local, district, state, and national levels. I'm from the Rugby FCCLA chapter. That's my hometown high school, where I served as a chapter president, and then I later served as a North Dakota FCCLA state officer. And through my involvement in holding office and also competing in star events, I was able to learn more about family and consumer sciences and the way that can impact the lives of students and community members, and that really started my interest in pursuing a degree in education. And so, like I said, I'm from Rugby, North Dakota, which, if you don't know where that is, it's in District 2, and it's a small town of about 2,500 people. So as you can imagine, coming to Fargo was something super intimidating for me, and I never really pictured myself coming to such a large university. But what's super nice about it too is it doesn't feel as big as it seems once you're actually here. And when I came on the tours, everyone was super welcoming, the students and the staff, including Dr. Mary Bohr, who's the head of the FACS department, who you'll get to meet if you come here for a visit day. So I'm very excited now, after I finish my generals, more so this year, to start getting more into the FACS programs and some of the specific courses to learn how I can become the best FACS teacher that I can. Some tips that I have for you if you're maybe nervous about coming to NDSU, coming way to this part of the state, or if you're from a smaller town like I was, the size can be super intimidating, is come to all the tour days, such as there's Discover NDSU coming up this fall, and in the spring, NDSU hosts a Say Yes to FCS Day. So I'd recommend coming to those events, getting to meet some people in your program and some of the faculty. And also I'd recommend talking to your FCCLA advisor, talking to your FACS teacher, kind of about why they wanted to be a FACS teacher, and they might know what the program at NDSU or a program similar might look like. And also feel free to reach out to a current student at NDSU to kind of learn more about their experiences on campus. And if you're maybe a senior and you're already committed to coming to NDSU for any program at all, one thing I'd recommend is getting involved in some organizations to kind of allow you to meet people outside of your courses. Two things that I joined AAFCS, which is the American Association for Family and Consumer Sciences, so I can meet some people in my major. And then I also joined the Gold Star Marching Band, so I was able to play music, which is something I love, and meet different groups of people on campus. So those are some of my recommendations, but I feel free to reach out to me or talk to anyone you know to learn more about NDSU. And if you have any interest in being a FACS teacher, to learn more about that.
My name's Karen, and I go to NDSU, and my major is FACS Ed. So the reason I decided to be a FACS teacher is because growing up, I've always loved, sewing and baking and cooking and childcare and child development, and I thought it'd be a really good fit. And the reason I decided to go to NDSU was because, one, because my sisters live up here, so I thought it'd be really nice to be around them. And then choosing NDSU, though, is because, I came in to college undecided, and so I thought, having so many different major options would be a good choice. The campus itself is honestly great. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's the perfect size, and there's always stuff going on. There's, activities literally everywhere, and you won't be bored. There's plenty to do. There's a lot of clubs and everything. What I like best about NDSU is the Newman Center right off campus. It's Wise and Catholic. It's a great community, and it's just something I really enjoy. And yeah, that's probably my favorite thing about NDSU. What I like best about the FACS program, well, the club, AAFCS, American Association of Family and Consumer Sciences. That's really fun. We have meetings once a month, and we always have stuff going on. There's always ways to be involved with that. I also like how the classes in FACS, are so, FACS is such a broad major. There's so much that goes into it that I just love learning all the different aspects, like the nutrition and the childcare and the education aspect. I really enjoy being around kids and teaching kids, and so I think being a middle school teacher would be really fun for me. And yeah, so if you're interested in FACS, NDSU has a really great program, and I think it'd be a good fit for you.
Hello, so my name is Aaliyah, and I am a FACS education major here at NDSU, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So I'm actually sitting in my apartment right now. It's about a 4-minute walk off campus, so it's pretty close to it. So the reason I decided to be a FACS teacher is because I always loved the hands-on classes in like middle school and high school, and I love the ones that taught us like life skills and things that we would use the rest of our lives. And so I feel like that was like one of the main reasons I chose it. And I also loved I love like cooking, I love kids, so like child development, I love just like crafts and activities. And so I was able to take all my hobbies and put it into one, and now I can teach like the things I love to do in life. And so when choosing NDSU, it was pretty last minute. I think I chose like right before the cutoff, but I had came and like visited it. I just like wasn't sure, but I decided on it. And one thing that made me decide on it compared to the others when I had toured like Duluth and Bemidji is NDSU is like a huge education school. Like I feel like not many people know it, but we have like every education major you could probably ever think about. Like we have agriculture, art, FACS of course, we have math, science, we have like everything here that like all the other schools don't have. Like I feel like some of the other schools were like missing ones, and we have everything. And so that's like one of the main reasons I decided to come here. And I think my favorite thing about being here at NDSU is just like the community we have. Everyone here is so kind, and if you're like walking down the street, you'll know at least one person when you're walking, and everyone is just happy to be here, and you'll always like have a friend or someone to talk to. Like I feel like no one is ever lonely here. It's like a big school, but we feel like a family, and everyone just wants the best for each other. And my favorite thing about the FACS department is probably just like how kind everyone is, and like how many like opportunities we get through it, where we get to go and judge events, we get to go and meet these amazing people and meet each other and have a lot of fun with each other. And the teachers and our professors here are so kind. Like they want to get to know you for who you are, and like they'll stay after class or they'll talk to you in class, and they'll get to know who you are as a person, and they just like want the best for you, and they want you to be like the best teacher possible, and they're going to do whatever they can to get you to that point. And so that's probably like my favorite thing about the FACS department. And then my favorite thing about Fargo is I'm from like kind of a small town, kind of not. So like I really enjoy the small town vibes, but I also like to go out and do things once in a while like in the city. And so if you go down to like small or like old Fargo, I feel like that is like your small town vibes. Like you get a lot of the local coffee shops, you get a lot of the restaurants, and some of like the local like stores, like boutiques and stuff that are just super cute. And so I feel like that gives you kind of like that small town vibe. But then if you go into like West Fargo area, you're gonna get more of like the city stuff with the malls and like Chick-fil-A and those bigger restaurants. And so I feel like Fargo kind of gives you like the best of both worlds. So if like you want to have like a quieter weekend and you want to just do like small town things, go down to old Fargo. But if you want to like go shopping, go to West Fargo. And I feel like Fargo always gives people things to do. Like we have a lot of good like walking paths. We have the Red River Market in the fall, and that always gives you things to do. And then there's like ice skating in the winter, so it's like never boring here. Like there's always things going on. And then of course we have the football games that everyone loves to go to, so like I feel like you're never bored here. Like there's always just like things to do. So yeah, so I think you should choose NDSU and choose FACS because it's really fun, and we would love to have you, and we'd love to get to know you. Bye.
Hi everybody, I'm currently in my sewing class, so we're doing some embroidery, and I have some other FACS majors here with me. This is Maddie. Maddie, wave. Maddie, wave.
Maddie's locked in.
Maddie's busy. There's Cameron over there. This is Tanner over here. So we're making tote bags right now, which is part of the curriculum when you become a FACS major at NDSU. I chose NDSU because it was just affordable for me as a student. And yeah, I've loved every experience that we've had here, and we had a really good time as a FACS teacher community. And
what's your favorite thing about FACS?
My favorite thing about FACS, my favorite subject in FACS is either cooking or baking, although I did have a failed sourdough loaf this weekend, but we don't talk about that. But other than that, this class has been one of my favorites. It's just very hands-on. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Hi friends, my name is Tanner Verbitsky. I am a sophomore here at North Dakota State University, and I am studying Family and Consumer Sciences Education. I chose to become a FACS teacher because I was raised more traditional. I grew up on a farm out by Minot, North Dakota. I come from a town of about 70 people, and I was raised mostly by my grandmother, who instilled it in me that if you work hard for what you want, you're gonna succeed in life. And so when I was young, it taught me how to sew, and I found so much joy in sewing because I found it was a distressor for me. If I was stressed, overwhelmed, if things were just not going right in life, I could count on being able to sit down at my sewing machine and just relax. All my problems and worries, they just disappear, and I'm focused on what I need to do. And my grandma also inspired me to cook. I spend all summer long in my garden. I have a very big garden on the farm, and I spend plenty of time weeding, pruning, fertilizing, watering. I'm busy all summer long in the garden doing those things, and then fall comes around and it's time to can, and I love canning. And I love the fact that I can go and I can can my tomatoes and pickle my cucumbers and make sauerkraut, and I know that I'm the one who's made it and that I can survive from my own basic needs, if that makes sense. So I don't have to rely on a store, to have all of my tomato sauce or my pasta sauce or whatever I'm making. I know that I can make that myself. And that's really what got me into teaching. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, and it wasn't until about my middle school years when I was in my FACS classes that I said, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I love to sew, I love to cook. Let's do this. This is what I want to do. And as for being a FACS teacher, I want to instill that into students. I want students to have those basic skills that they need to say, hey, I can sew on a button. I can can my own tomatoes or my own whatever I need to survive. And I can do my own taxes, or at least I have the knowledge of taxes and budgeting. I can take a budget and break it down and see what I need to spend and what I need to save and what needs to go where, But here at NDSU, it is different coming from a small town. I will say that. Again, I came from a town of about 70 people. My high school had about 500 people total. I graduated with a class of 34. So coming to Fargo, where there's 300,000 plus people, was completely terrifying to me. And I will say that after I got here, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I'm definitely a homebody, definitely love the farm, definitely love the aspect of there not being people around. But you get used to it because the people are so nice. They're welcoming, they're warm. They make you want to be involved in things. They encourage you to be involved in things. So if I had to say anything about NDSU, I would definitely say that the people make it what it is. If I had to choose the best thing about the FACS program, I would have to single out one person and say that our advisor, Mary Bohr, is one of the sweetest, kindest people you're ever going to meet. She is one of those that you can go to with any problems, any sort of issues you're having. Go to Mary, because she can help you solve them. And if she can't help you solve them, she will find someone who will help you solve them. So, Mary, she's kind of the queen of the FACS program. I mean, she handles a lot of the stuff that we do. She's just a very good person overall. So if you're thinking about coming to NDSU, I encourage you to meet with Mary. Meet her, talk to her, have a conversation with her. She will open up your brain to the millions of possibilities that are available. If I had to choose one thing that I'm gonna tell a future FACS major, I would say this: come to NDSU with an open mind. It's a very diverse place. There's lots of experiences, lots of new places, lots of new people. Be open, let your mind just relax, go with the flow, scope out what you like, what you don't like, and just enjoy your time here.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace Baverica and I'm a freshman at NDSU and I'm majoring in FACS education. So I have a few questions that I get to answer for you guys today, and the first question is, why did I want to become a FACS teacher? And I enjoyed my FACS classes in high school, and I was always told that I would be a really great teacher, so I decided to go into FACS education. I decided NDSU because I'm pretty sure it's the only school in North Dakota that offers the Family and Consumer Sciences education major. But I also wanted to get outside of my comfort zone and move to a different area. What it's like in Fargo is it's pretty different. I'm from Dickinson, North Dakota, so it's not quite a small town, but it's also not too big. So it is a pretty big adjustment, I would say, just because of the population size and everything. But one thing that I did have to adjust to was the traffic. In Dickinson, you don't have more than 2 lanes anywhere. In Fargo, you definitely do. So that's one thing that I did have to get used to. What I like about NDSU is that all of the professors are super welcoming as long as you try. If you're trying, they're always willing to help. And just like the professors, anybody is willing to help, just in general. If you don't know where one of your buildings is at, or even one of your classes, there's always somebody there that could probably help you. And if they don't know where they're going, you guys are most likely be able to figure it out together. There's also multiple opportunities to make friends. And this is something that I was probably the most worried about coming here, is I didn't know too many people coming to NDSU. So making friends was going to be something that was super crucial. But you'll be just fine because you're going to have your roommate, your classmates in all of your classes that you'll be taking, and even just your floor mates in general. And then NDSU puts on a lot of student activities, so you'll always be able to find somebody there that probably shares a common interest even. Another thing that I really like is going to NDSU's sporting events. They just had their football game this weekend versus UND, and they did win, so roll Herd. What I like about the FACS program is I'm only a freshman, so I'm not into any of the FACS major classes yet, but I am in Introduction to Education, and it's one of my favorite classes, and I think that's a good sign so far, is that I'm enjoying it. The one thing is it is my 8 a.m. class, but if it's my favorite class, I guess we're good. Another thing about the FACS program is that there's a club for it that's called FCS. In that club, you get to meet all of the people that are also in FACS education, and it's really cool because you get to meet people on campus that share the same major and have the same interests as you. I would definitely recommend NDSU for anybody who's thinking about it or wanting to become a FACS teacher. It's super fun, you'll meet new friends, and it's full of great opportunities. Go Bison!